Well, good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. I see we have at least one participant with us. So I'm Cindy, and I'm a high school counselor at Lutheran High School North in St. Louis. I want to welcome you to the MOACAC, Missouri Association of College Admission Counselor, and StriveCAN session. And today you're going to be hearing from the Academy of Pet Careers, and Jennifer is with us. So she's going to take off, and she's going to share about them, and then I'll pop back on at the very end and wrap up the session. So Jennifer, here's to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the intro, and hello to whoever's watching. I'm excited to tell you more about what we do at the Academy of Pet Careers. So first I'll give you a little bit of background about me. My name's Jennifer, and I have been doing this for about 6 years now, and I love what I do because I get to help fabulous students start careers in the pet care industry, but I also love animals, so it's the best of both worlds, a little bit of both. So we are located in St. Charles, Missouri. We actually just relocated after we shut down for a few months for the quarantining and things like that. So we're in a new building in St. Charles. We moved from Chesterfield. So if anyone's familiar with maybe where we were before, we are in St. Charles from here on out. We're super excited. What we like to do is invite people out for school visits to kind of get to know us a little bit more. Our programs are so unique in that they're very hands-on. So what we do during any school visits or observation days is you actually get to take a look at kind of what those hands-on classes look like. But I kind of wanted to go through each program, give you a little bit of background of each of those, and then if you have any questions, I have the question screen up. Please ask them, because I'm not sure which program you might be interested in, or if anyone's interested in multiple, even if you want to tell me about your puppies, anything. So the programs that we offer, they at the most are all about 20 weeks long. So 100 days in class with us. Like I said, they're very hands-on. So we offer pet grooming programs, we offer dog training and specialty training, and then we also offer a veterinary assisting program. So we'll start with the pet grooming. Our pet grooming program, you don't need to bring any dogs. You actually get to work on dogs that have been volunteered to get practiced on. And we start learning all about the things you didn't even realize that you needed to know for grooming. So dermatology, skin and coat, proper animal handling, animal behavior, how to work with dogs that might be fearful or a little bit stressed out by the grooming process, and then teaching you how to do the job as far as even how to price yourself and how to speak to clients, how to answer some of those hard client questions too. So anyone interested in this program usually has gotten to work with the animals at some point, or has some pets of their own, and they know what it's like to take their dog to the grooming salon. So after you learn all those initial things, so the dermatology is all about the skin and the hair, then you will get to do some of the hands-on things like bathing, brushing, drying, which sounds very simple, but it's actually so in-depth. There's so many tools that you're going to be using. There's so many ways that you actually want to even move your body so that you can take care of yourself. It's a very physical job, not in a horrible way, but if you're not doing it right and you're not keeping your wrists straight like you should, and learning all about ergonomics, how to really keep yourself from lifting dogs and things, then it can be hard on your body. The drying process, there's so many different coat types, different breeds that have different expectations for what those coats should look like. And then as you progress through the program, you will start doing all over body haircuts. So I like to talk about the oodles of doodles that we get to see. There's so many different haircuts that you can do for them, but there's no breed standard for those. So like your golden doodles, your labradoodles, even like your shih tzus and your kind of mixed breeds that need a haircut, that's what you start with. So learning all about your clipper attachments and your, what length each of those translates to for different coat types. So those all over body haircuts, you're learning different head shapes, different ear styles, just so much. You're doing the full haircuts. You're starting to feel like a groomer. You're still doing some of that prep work stuff, so the nails and the bathing, brushing, drying. But then eventually, once you're feeling like a rock star groomer, then we start talking about breed standards, the history of dogs, why they're groomed the way they are. Some people don't realize that there's reasons that they keep the hair that way. You learn a little bit about kind of the breeding and the structure that they should be so that you can set those proper haircuts. It's actually fascinating. If you're a dog nerd at all, then it's perfect for you because you get to learn, like I said, all the things that you don't realize that you should know about grooming. And it all comes back to that perfect process in the beginning. You can't have that great haircut until you've mastered the bathing, brushing, drying. So the stuff that sounds simple and repetitive actually is the core of your job and is what is going to make those haircuts look so great. We also teach cat grooming and proper handling for them. Some people are like, no cats, and some people are like, yes, please. But what we talk about is low stress handling, how you can get cats to feel more comfortable in your environment. We teach about pheromones and things to help them from being up here and stressed out to being a little bit more like, okay, this isn't so bad. We use a lot of treats. We talk about what we call pet empowerment, and that's really helping the pets feel empowered to be there, you know, like they get to make that choice to get that bath. And I know it sounds crazy, but as you learn more about behavior, there's so much that you can do to help them kind of change how they feel about the situation. So cat grooming, it also makes you just so much more marketable when you're looking for that job or you're getting those pet parents, they have dogs, they also have that cat that needs the bath, but their other groomer doesn't offer it. So getting to offer both of those things too. In our grooming program, as well as our other programs, but the grooming program includes a fabulous toolkit. So all the handheld tools that you need, like your shears, your clippers, all of the attachments, your nail stuff, your brushes, your combs, everything you're going to be using in class. So you get that as well. And we talk about maintenance and how to take care of those tools too. It goes with you afterwards, and that's your kind of starter kit when you enter the workforce too. So the program is, like I said, very hands-on. There's a little bit of book work, there's a little bit of studying that you'll have to do, taking it back to kind of the beginning where you're learning about the skin and coat. You'll learn all about like the layers of skin, hair follicles, coat growth, and zoonotic diseases, those kind of things. Those are what we're teaching in the book work, but the hands-on stuff is what you're actually doing for the job, if that makes sense. So it's very important that you know why you're doing what you're doing. So some of that book work, behind the scenes stuff, but then it's very important that you can also do the job. So the hands-on practical skills that you'll learn. So that kind of, in a quick explanation, tells you a little bit more about grooming. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can answer those as we go, but I'll move on to our dog training programs. For dog training, we actually have students bring a dog with them. So if you have a dog and you're picturing, you know, that they're going to be perfect for the program, awesome. Some people are like, oh my gosh, my dog would never. I have an old girl. She would not be happy with me if I made her stay awake all day. But then, you know, maybe your neighbor just got a dog, maybe your cousin has a dog, whatever. We can help you find a dog for the program. So don't let that be the reason that you don't, you know, pursue dog training. But the reason we do that is because, one, we want you to be able to train the average client dog. That's going to be your job. So the fact that you don't have a brand new puppy or a dog from a working line or anything like that, but you have a dog that has behavioral things or basic manners that they need help with. And the other reason is that we want you to be able to kind of graduate through the program with the dog. So today we're teaching sits. And tomorrow or the next week, we're teaching sit in motion. So that's when we're walking and we tell the dog to sit, but we keep going. And then the next week, we're teaching kind of that sit with duration, which means they can sit and we walk out of the room, we stomp, we open and shut the door, and they can still stay. So you can't just show up this day with one dog that you haven't even worked with yet, because those skills kind of build off of each other. So we want you to bring at least one dog throughout the whole program. as far as our methodology goes here and how we teach this training, we take it back to how the dog's brains work and really what motivates them to work for us. And as cool as it is, we don't need to correct them. We don't need to yell at them or anything. We can figure out what their favorite treat is or what their favorite toy is and really get them to start offering those behaviors. So it's so cool to get to see your dog like, I want to work, I want to do the things, and they are paying attention, they have great engagement. You can really see dogs kind of change their whole mentality about the training world if we're being lovely to them. So we talk a lot about that and the low stress handling, those kind of things. So you'll love that. Your dog will love it too. And you'll get lots of snacks for them. Let's see, some of the things that we teach in that training program are the basic manners things. Then we do tricks, we do some sports, some dog sports. We teach service dog skills, therapy dogs, emotional support dogs. We teach scent discrimination, which is, it could be translated into anything. It could be narcotics, it could be search and rescue, it could be bed bug detection. I mean, there's so many things. It can also be a fun game that you play with your dog, doing like nose work games is what we call them. So again, this is your dog, this is your average dog, and you could teach them all of those things. So it's really cool to see the whole progression throughout the program. And the training program, more than any, kind of moves at your own pace. There's checkpoints, there's places we'll want you to be, but we can't say every dog today learns this and every dog today learns that. The dogs work at different paces. Some dogs come in and they're a little bit nervous, so we want to address those things first before we're like, let's teach skills. So again, maybe the other dog comes in and is like, I'm ready to work. So every dog is at their own pace, you know, within a few days, a few weeks, as far as progress goes. Let's see. The specialties we teach, like I said, service dogs, scent work, some of those dog sports, those are included in the program. So you really get to have some fun towards the end of your program once you've mastered all the other competencies. You also, while you're working your dog most of the time, you also get to work with volunteer puppies. So your dog might be super engaged with you, but then we hand you a puppy. We want you to be able to work with them too, because they're like a little all over the place, or they're still working on potty training and some other things. So yay, puppies, but also puppies can be tough too. So by the time you're done with the training program, you're feeling like a rock star trainer. You're ready for, you know, training all the dogs. But the other thing we focus on is the client side of things. So if you can't then help the client understand what they need to work on at home, then you are not going to get more clients, because they're going to get home and the dog's not going to be trained. It's not as simple as like, here's your puppy, it's trained. So we want our students to be ready for the workforce. We have them work with either role play with clients, or if you start getting some clients, you can start bringing them in and practicing, but getting ready for the actual skills transfer when the pet parents start taking over those skills and working on them at home. So that's really cool to see, and that's when, you know, if you can see it, if you can do it, and then you can teach it, then we know that you know all of it. So it's really fun to see that, like, that transfer. So that kind of covers the training programs. Training is very hands-on with your own dog and those other dogs. It's, again, very much at your own pace, unlike grooming, where we're just learning all the things each week and we've got the curriculum all set. Training has its set curriculum, but the days might be a little different per dog and per pet parent. On that note, we keep our class sizes very small. So training and vet assisting, that we'll talk about in a minute, we keep those under 15 students at a time so that you get a lot of one-on-one instructor time. Grooming, we actually keep under 12 students at a time. That is a very nervous thing to be doing when you're not with an instructor in, you know, eyes view. So grooming, we keep a little bit smaller, and we have multiple instructors in there. So wrap up training, let's talk about vet assisting. Vet assisting is our newest program, and it is one that I am just so confident in for our students, because the need for vet assistants out there is crazy. we actually met with the local veterinary community when we were launching this program, just to understand kind of what they were looking for, what they wanted to see in our curriculum, and then what they were wanting to hire. So all of those things are what we've included in the program. It's very important for our programs to be rock stars at job placement. So we want all the things in the program and then some to be what employers are looking for. We're a career school. We want you to get that career. So vet assisting, we think is our probably most versatile program. So many people think like veterinary, okay, I'm working at a vet hospital. But vet assistants can actually go and work for a boarding facility and manage that side of things. Dogs come in all the time and they need meds, or it's a geriatric dog, or it's a dog that needs insulin, or there's gross things that happen behind the scenes at dog places. They have a runny stool, and sometimes that means that they're sick. Sometimes that means that they're nervous. Having a vet assistant on site can answer those things very quickly. Also, the zoos, I saw that the local aquarium, those type of places are hiring vet assistants as well. So think job versatility for that. And then as far as what is included in the program, you will learn all the intro to vet med. So learning all about like anatomy and pharmacology and all the different zoonotic diseases, the things that you're going to be seeing in your clinic or your work every day. And then how to, really recognize different breeds and different species and those kind of things. Then it gets into what I think is the most fun part, is some of the hands-on stuff. The way we teach the program is we want you to learn about it, we want you to practice it, and then we want you to apply it. So let's take a blood draw for an example. We want you to learn all about blood draws, why you do them, what veins you're looking for, look at the vascular system, understand all the things about it, okay? Then we want you to practice it. We have fake dog arms that actually have veins in them. We want you to not have your first practice be on a live dog and poking it. We want you to get to practice on that dog arm and really get to feel confident that you know what you're doing. Then eventually you actually get to work on the live dogs. I don't want you to walk into that new career and be like, I've never done this before. I want you to actually have practiced it, done it, and feel proficient in it even. So that's just one example. The other things that you're doing are like the pharmacology. So you get a pet parent in, their dog is sick and the vet diagnoses it. Then they prescribe the meds. So you actually get to learn about all the different meds out there, all the different treatments, vaccines, everything, and then the proper dosages for those animals. Trying to think, we also do like all the lab stuff. So you get a pet parent in that says their dog's sick. They bring in, as gross as it is, a baggie of poop for you to test. And if you didn't like that comment, then the vet industry might not be for you. But then you get to do the lab stuff and all the sciencey stuff and understand what is wrong with this dog. What can we do to fix it, help it feel better, and kind of play detective. So again, as gross as it is, it's kind of my favorite part, is using the microscopes and understanding what we're about to treat. So you get to do that as a lesson as well. We focus a lot on the small animals, so dog and cat, your rabbits, your small animal. But we also do some large animal, so horses mainly, cows, those kind of things. Those are field trips that we'll do. And then we also do exotics, so you'll get to do some of those as well. This past week, our vet assistant students they're on their surgery lesson. So they actually went out to a few clinics and got to observe and then assist in some surgeries, which is really cool. We have some awesome partners in the industry who will also be a part of our job placement process for that. But that's just really cool to see that it come full circle. All the things now you get to go out and actually practice the job. So that's what they're working on. Any questions about grooming, training, vet assisting, anyone? Please drop those in the question box if you have them. And I will keep going about enrollment. So if anyone is interested in this industry, maybe you're not certain which program is for you, but you're kind of interested, you want to learn more. What we have you do is set up a school visit, come and talk to us, or I will send you guys some information with course brochure. You can kind of dive into a little bit more there. But getting to actually come and observe class, I think, is really important. We want you to know what you're getting yourself into, understand exactly what that hands-on class looks like, and get to see how much fun we have here, because it really is. I have a dog sitting right down here, and that just makes your day. She's snoozing. But you know, as fun as it is, sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's gross, sometimes it's crazy, and that's what we want you to understand. If you can get through those things, then this is an awesome, awesome, awesome industry to be in. As far as our programs, we're open enrollment for our grooming and training. We start classes each month, but our vet assistant program is a semester-based course. So that one, due to COVID, it's a little wonky this year, but it's a November start is our next program, and then April is the next one after that. So if you are a high school graduate from this weird last year, awesome. You can get started in November, anytime really, for the other programs, but November, April for the vet assistant. And then if you're still in school and you get like a college visit day or anything like that, come visit and we can figure out a plan for when you'd want to get started later. Let's see. Like I said, we are in St. Charles. I don't know if anybody else has hopped on and you missed the first part, but we're in St. Charles and we operate with another company. So you might drive past the building sometimes and see the academy, but we operate with a boarding facility too named Petropolis. And it's really cool because you get to see a lot of the behind the scenes, actually real world experience that you wouldn't get to see in like your average classroom setting. So they do boarding, daycare, and they also have some training services. They actually have a bunch of our graduates that work for them too. So it's cool to see that come in full circle as well. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some other fun things we could talk about. If anybody has puppies, I want to know about them. You get some awesome discounts while you're here too. So if you need grooming or training, you can have a student help you with that, or you get some awesome discounts there. But our students' favorite thing is $5 daycare. So if you want to send your dog to go party out in the play yards, you get that for $5, which is really neat. We also have what we call Friday Fun, and it's where we have all the dogs get to go, all the student dogs go and party in the play yards, and we have a foam machine and stuff. So I'm telling you, it's a fun industry. You could do all the weird stuff like have foam parties for dogs. But let's see, anyone else join us? No, just us. Have I answered all of your questions? Maybe if you can let me know that, that would be awesome. And again, I have one dog here and I'm actually dog sitting, but I think it's always fun to tell you about my babies. I have like I said, an old girl and she's awesome. She's a border collie mix. And then I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. So everyone loves to see him because he's massive. His head is this big. He doesn't weigh that much, but he's about 120 pounds. A lot of it's hair. So he looks giant and massive, but he's a snuggle bug. He's awesome. You'll get to work a range of breeds and temperaments while you're here for any of the programs. Our goal is not to give you some perfect puppy to practice your grooming on. Our goal is to give you what the average client dog is going to be like. Some are old and want to sit down every 4 minutes, so we give them lots of breaks. Some are reactive and it's a tougher training environment for them, but we work with that. We want you to know how to work with that. Some are sick and they need veterinary care, but we want you to be prepared for those conversations. So it's really cool that you'll get to not just, have to bring your dog every day and only get to work that, chocolate lab that's perfect. But you'll get to work the crazy doodles and the wild Aussies and everything in between. And I can say that they're crazy because I have some family dogs that are Aussies. Let's see. So I guess kind of to give you a general what we do, why you should join us, it would be if you love hands-on learning, if that is more your speed, you don't prefer the classroom setting, then this is a perfect program. We are very hands-on. I don't want to say there's no books. I mean, there's books behind me. We're always referring to something, or we're marking that down and then going to practice it. There are books, there are written things, there are tests that you'll have to take. But if you prefer the hands-on learning to grasp what's going to be on the test and to grasp what is going to be what you need to memorize, then this is perfect. If you prefer a smaller class size, some people just hate that like overwhelming class size. They don't want to ask their questions because they feel like they're, you know, 1 in a million. Like I said, we keep our class sizes under 12 or 15, depending on the program. We're working with live animals most of the time. We want to make sure that you are ready and that you have an instructor there when you're not ready. So that's really important to us. And we didn't really talk about the lengths of the programs too much. The longest program is 20 weeks for any of the fields. So that's, you know, 4.5, 5 months, depending on when you get started. If you are ready to get into a career and you're ready to start that next stage of your life, then a quick program like this is awesome. We don't focus on the, you know, electives and make sure you get your English credit and your math credit. I want you to know the English and the vocabulary for that specific program. And I want you to know the math specific to each field. So you'll learn about those things. You aren't going to be like, never use math again. But we want you to know exactly just what to use for the program and what to use in the field. So that's why we get to keep it so short. We aren't, you know, going over geometry and training class. So it's very specific to each program. Let's see what else. So that's kind of program length. That's why we get to keep it so short. I'm trying to think of some of the other big things that I haven't touched on yet. Let's see. I don't know if we talked too much about, no, we did enrollment, those kind of things. Let's see. If you can, let's see, you'll share your email address, so I'll get that. So what I will do from here is send you a course brochure, send you my contact information if you think of any other weird questions. The thing that we'll talk about more is like pricing for each program. They're all a little different. The pricing for each toolkit is a little bit different. Training is smaller. Vet assisting is smaller. Grooming is massive as far as what you're getting in the toolkit. So I'll get you pricing on each of those. And then let's see, financial aid and those kind of options too. We'll talk about those. We do payment plans. We do a few state-funded programs for funding. We don't do the FAFSA or Pell Grants. We don't do anything federal yet. So if that's something that you are needing help with, I'd love to navigate that conversation with you, because I think that's the scariest part, is figuring out how to, like, you found your dream career, you know exactly what you want to do, but how do I do it now? That's something that is what I can help you with. And kind of when you're, I think I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So say you get to do a program with us. Awesome. You rock your program. It's very short. Now it's time to go get a job. We help with job placement. We have, I mentioned it a few times, but we are very connected with the local industry, but also all over the country. We have students all over the country. We have student housing. And these are the things I haven't talked about yet. So we have student housing. We've had a few international students as well, but our housing options are very local to us. Now that we've moved to St. Charles, we have off-campus houses, and then we have apartments as well. So if you're needing, maybe you're a little bit further away, you can't do that commute, or if you're kind of wanting the college lifestyle, getting out of mom and dad's house, that's kind of fun too. It's not co-ed or anything. It is pet friendly depending on the program. There's no fees to bring a pet, which is really cool. You get to bring your buddy with you. Let's see, housing stuff. We, like I said, are open enrollment. So housing is just based on availability. So if you needed housing, I can get you that. I think that pretty much covers everything. I don't know if we want to kind of wrap up and see again if you have questions or anything. I can talk forever, but don't want to bore you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was helpful and insightful.
Yay.
I don't know anything about pay at the end of or salary.
Oh yeah. So each program is very different as far as that job placement goes. The grooming industry is on fire as far as job placement goes. It's more figuring out the right fit for you. Some people love kind of the mobile industry. Some people like the more boutique-y salon. They really got into those breed standard trims. And then some people kind of like the fast-paced stuff. So it's usually based on commission for grooming. And our goal is that you're making 50% or more. And you can imagine the average groom is about $50. So say you're making $25 per dog and you're doing about 6 dogs a day. Our goal is that you're getting into a busy salon that has enough dogs for you to do each day. So the wage really just goes up as the more dogs you can do. By the end of the grooming program, we kind of stop the learning, adding curriculum to it, and work on speed and accuracy. So our student might be super speedy but needs to refine some things, or our student might be perfect, pristine grooms but super slow. So kind of the end of the program is when you know everything, let's bring it all together, because the more dogs you could do, the better the wage. Trainers, that's a little bit different. If you're working for someone, we always say it needs to be, around the $15 or higher on the wage scale. But then if you're going and doing this independently, I mean, you can charge $75 an hour for your in-home lessons and private lessons and things like that. Specialty training is a whole different ballgame. So if you're teaching service dogs, you learn a lot more about like grant writing and that stuff as well. And then vet assistants, they start at about, it's a lower wage, but it is with the benefits and all the fabulous things, and it moves up a little bit quicker. So about $15 is where we want you to be by the time you're done with your testing and everything. But it can start at about 12 or so, depending on the clinic you go to. Thank you for making me talk about that.
All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer. If you don't have any questions in your Q&A, then thank you. And participants, just remember that the Missouri ACAC is continuing to host some programs for another few days here. It was about a 4-week program, so you can go to moacac.org to sign up for more. And when you click out of this session, there'll be a brief survey, and we 4 questions, and we'd appreciate your response. All right. So thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.